So I'm on the hunt for a place that involved a unsolved murder that happened about 34 years ago in this area of North Knoxville, around Callahan, kind of corner of Clinton Highway. Didn't actually happen here, but they claim the murderer of this may have had a car waiting for them on this old Callahan Road, which was two lane back then. It was not this 4-lane. None of this was here. It was all woods. And this is the story of Dr. Hyram Kitchen, who was a professor at UT, veterinarian, and a dean of the veterinary school, who got viciously executed and shot in his own driveway back in 1990. Unsolved. But here's the old Callahan, and back in the wood, all this Florida area would have been woods, and this would have been the actual road coming down through here, the old Callahan, which somewhere in here the police think that maybe there was a car back here. This would have been back behind the house area that they think maybe, and a lot of these little houses were here back then, and this kind of would have been the area right over here where possibly someone had a car waiting, and these old houses were there. Right over in here might have been the area where the murder came to, or maybe they came to Clinton Highway, they think. But this all used to be fields back behind the house, and now it's all got a lot of development on it. So this is the new Callahan section here, and over here to the left would be the wooded area right down here, where is behind the house of Dr. Kitchen. And all of this area that's 4-lane today did not have development. It was all woods and farm area. That's all behind the house. So let's go check it out. So to note, all these areas, Lowe's, Target, all this shopping center, nothing was here back then at all. There was like a trailer, maybe a sales trailer place where they sold trailers, but that was it. This was all field area. Every bit of this was all field back then, so this was not occupied by businesses. Very different from the 1990s. None of these businesses were around back then, but you know, the story of Dr. Kitchen was, you know, he came from like Michigan, came down here as a professor of veterinarian school, and as of February, 1990, he'd just been promoted to the dean of veterinarian school, just being promoted. And he got up one morning, February the 8th, to go to a breakfast meeting with some of his colleagues, and it was still dark. He was getting up early, and someone had jumped him in his driveway and shot him all over, executed him, shot in the face and back of the head, just literally shot him all to pieces as soon as he got out of his car, because he saw something. and I believe he was going up to his gate to get out of his driveway, and he got massively shot. And then his wife kind of heard something and got up, and he tried to move toward the house and just fell over basically dead right there on the edge of the driveway in his own house. Now, back then, on this road that I'm fixing to go down, there was nothing back there other than his house. It was secluded and isolated, kind of south of the old Callahan Road, which had mainly just woods around it. But yeah, the police have never really found out 34 years later what happened. They know what happened, they just don't know who did it. Whether it was execution, ambush, was somebody out to get him, there was some theories that a lot of the protesters against cruelty to animals was going around at that time, and a lot of them thought, well, maybe that's what it was, that he got some death threats or some phone calls, and the police ruled that out, that it wasn't necessarily the protesters. And then they just didn't know. Did he just got promoted? Was somebody mad because he just got promoted? I mean, that'd be kind of vicious. Was there a fair somewhere? I don't know. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. So it's a crazy story, and it's been unsolved. Let's go check out the place where it actually happened. So this area was the actual driveway that went to Dr. Kitchen's house. Now, back in the day, there was no other buildings or establishments back here, which has since been developed, but it was just their house, isolated, which came back through this fenced-in area, which, maybe had dogs, because the veterinarian, they were chain linked, and this is the fence area right here where you go in, and unfortunately right here is where he got shot, pretty much. There was a rose bush that his wife put out here in his place. I don't know where that's at, but it would have been right here. Right here's basically where he fell to his death, right here. And to this day, they have no clues who did this. And you can kind of see in the back, in the back of the house in this area, even though it's developed today, it's still rural looking. But back then, it was really, wooded looking and didn't have to. So anybody could have come back here and done this, but it's still unsolved. Crazy, but creepy.